Good morning. Thank you for being here today. I truly appreciate this opportunity to explain who I am and my beliefs as a future educator. I feel like it's very important. That being said, let's get with it. So, teaching with a purpose, inspiring growth and learning. A few of my personal values as a teacher are empathy, which I believe every student deserves to be shown that they are heard, that we feel them, and that we know that they need the safety as well. Respect, I think respect is a huge role. Not necessarily just getting respect from the students, but also us showing them that we respect them. Because, at the end of the day, if we don't respect our students or our classroom and stuff, they're not going to respect us. I believe that respect is the foundation of a positive production and a learning experience and just a classroom in general for all of our students. Another really good personal value I have as a teacher that I hold really close to my heart and I connect with is compassion. I had a really rough senior year and I went through a lot of things at home, and I had a few teachers that showed me so much compassion that made it so much easier to get through the school day and turn in my work rather than just not trying or just not wanting to be there. Showing that little bit of compassion, especially when they didn't know everything that I was going through at the time, really did make the biggest difference in my senior year and the way that I finished out my grade school career. A few more different personal values that are important to me are accountability. I believe accountability is both for the staff, that meaning teachers, custodians, lunch ladies, everybody, principals, admin, as well as students. I feel like everybody with the choices that they make, being bad or good, should be held accountable for their choices that they make. I think showing kids that they are held accountable for the right and wrongs that they do is very important, and it can show them skills for the future that they might need. A community is the last personal value as a teacher that I have. I think it's very important to build a community. I believe that teaching isn't just about delivering content, but it's about building mindful connections within the students in my classroom and outside of my classroom. Some students, we have no idea what's going on with them at home. So being able to know that they have that support when they're at least at school can be such a big difference in my mindset, at least. Ethical behavior and classroom culture framework. This is very important. The culture of a classroom shapes how a student learns and feels about themselves. Literally from being able to get students to act more responsible and honesty, and even having more confidence inside the classroom where that they are ready to take accountability for the way that they have done. It's so important to have a framework inside of your classroom. Next, we're going to talk about the effectiveness of communication. I think it's very important to be able to use communication. The world we live in right now, I feel like it's very hard for some students who don't use English as their primary language to communicate, and I think that they are overlooked too soon. So I think using active listening and response with both students that speak English and that ones that are still learning it, I think it's very important that we try to use language in a respectful way to respond to all of them. Being clear and professional is really key to this situation. Next, we have the technology. High expectations in the use of technology means I will hold myself accountable to using technology in and outside of the classroom, as well as I expect my students. Nowadays, there are so many new technologies that are such good opportunities for our students to be able to use to enhance their learning and not necessarily replace hands-on, but get more of a different feel of learning, because every single person learns differently. I also think that this helps keep our students connected, since technology is such a big part of life nowadays. I think being able to transfer some from on paper to technology, where we have more opportunities and tools on there to use to be able to complete any schoolwork that might be done. Professional standards of practice. Meeting high professional standards means applying best practices grounded in research, upholding honesty in my performance, and seeking feedback. I think this commutes mirror that dispositions of professional conduct and honesty, ensuring that not only I meet high expectations, but I'm able to be a role model for all of my students, that being held to high expectations can make you more successful in life. I think having high expectations for yourself as well as your classroom is just very important. High expectations in this area, being fully aware and competent with educational laws, disciplinary policies, and school protocols. Prioritizing student safety is one of the most important things. I even knew that growing up in school with all different teachers. Sadly, the world that we live in right now, it's more often than not to have like a safety plan for if something was to happen and the school had to go into lockdown. But being able to understand and respect each other through this time is just such a great thing. And it's being able to follow a school's law and policies is number one priority. You never would want to make the admin or principals feel uncomfortable in a position that I personally have put them through. That is not something I would ever want to do. So definitely going over the rules and the policies that each school holds is important for sure. My professional learning goals. So I would love to strengthen responsive teaching. Strengthen culturally responsive teaching. I think more often than not, all the different cultures in schools are overlooked, and I want every student in my classroom to feel valued, seen, supported. And by deepening my understanding of their culture and being able to respond more than that, I feel like even making my instructions more clear, or even just changing the way that I look at it personally, is so important. And that is one of my goals as a future teacher. Another one would be to, I feel like, use technology to enhance or even get students' engagement up in wanting to learn the exploring new like games, or even not even games, but like skill work that are on computers. I remember getting to play like cool math and stuff like that in school, and even though I looked at it as a game, now I do realize actually how much of a skill practice situation that was, and that is something that I would love to be able to do. Professional development topics. I think that there are a lot of different ones, but by far like number one thing that I think that I would want is being able to get peer feedback. Being able to hear this from a professional person telling me that I need to work on this, this, and this, I think is something, as a hands-on learner, I think being able to go over peer learning and even peer coaching, showing me where I could improve, and being able to reflect on that, and a place for honesty and reflection, I think it's really good. There's so many different ways that feedback matters, like builds a culture, trust, and collaboration, strengthens practice, which I think is always a plus in the teaching aspect. And I just realized that I have been rambling. This is why I'm ready to teach. I'm passionate about building a classroom where every student feels valued, challenged, and inspired to grow. I'm excited for the opportunities to bring that to the community, and that is something that I have always looked forward to, and one of the reasons that I want to be a teacher. I want to make a change. Thank you.